so great to see you, Bob. Thank you very much for participating. Yeah. So I have only met you one time in person, and that was at the Think Smart Factory event in Kyoto, November last year.
That is correct. Yep. We did a little filming together, I believe.
Yes. And I was so amazed also because your son is with Horizon and he speaks fluent Japanese, and he was stealing the stage. I mean, just fantastic. Have you kind of Horizon and Japan in your blood veins, or how?
Well, that's a good question. And I've been working together with Horizon for 30 years now, and as such, my son Colin, who you met, who is now a Horizon employee, he's grown up with Horizon. So even though he's not been in the business and it wasn't his intention to move in that direction, he's grown up knowing all of the representatives from Horizon and the Hori family, and he's very happy and proud to be part of the company now.
And I can imagine that you must be proud of him as well, because I mean, when you spend 30 years of your life with the company, it must be because the company delivers on the same values as you stand for, right?
Yes, actually, both Standard, who employs me, and Horizon, our values align quite nicely, and we've had a fantastic relationship. Myself, as I say, for 30 years, and the Standard and Horizon relationship is even longer than that.
Whenever I meet guys from and women, of course, as well, but guys in broad terms from Horizon, from Hunkler, from Standard, it seems that you are almost like one big family, because I think that the relationship that you guys have is so tight that just the fact that you have these tight relations must be a strength also when you go to market.
Yes, I think that's true. I think that the three companies, first off, they're all family-owned businesses. We're all, in the big scheme of things, we're not large companies, so we're very tight-knit. We all wear a lot of hats. We all share a lot of responsibilities, and we all help to pull each other along through the changes in our industry. So we work really as a pretty good team to make sure that all of us are bringing the right solutions to the market.
And when you look at Horizon, because I started in the printing industry in 2000, I think, and that before that I was working in marketing. And when I look back at that time, I remember even the Horizon machines already from that time in working in a printing company in Denmark. And I was just wondering, the development of Horizon as a company is one thing. The development of technology is another thing. But would it be totally unfair to say that also Standard as a partner with Horizon have been very much part of their success, because handling one of the biggest print markets in the world must obviously give them a lot of feedback of what the market requires, right?
Yes, I'd say that it's been a very good two-way street. We've worked very closely with them as a partner, and truthfully speaking, on the digital side, for example, which is one of the things we'll be talking about today, the U.S. market, or the North American marketplace, has kind of led the way in a lot of ways. They seem to be, a number of years ahead of some other markets in adapting to that technology, and as such, we've been able to feed back important information about where the market is going to Horizon for them to work through their R&D team, and to Hunkler as well.
Do you still think that America has, or North America has, that kind of leading role? And I'm asking, it's a little bit of a provocation, but I'm asking because, when I go and see some, for example, of the online printers in Europe, I think that sometimes you see them as a little bit of ahead of America today, because maybe because our expenses is higher than yours, and therefore they need automation and all the things that is the subject of this week.
Yeah, I would say that the early adaptation of digital print, it was more of a difference where we were maybe 3 to 5 years ahead of some of the other markets in adapting to the technology. But I do believe that has changed. I believe that the technology has really taken hold in Europe, and it's a little slower behind in adaptation of some of the automation and technology in the Asian marketplace. But the European marketplace has adapted very well to the digital print market and is really doing a fantastic job of implementing the new technology.
Wow, that must be annoying for an American to admit that, right?
Doesn't bother me a bit.
I knew that, so that's great. Bob, we are going to talk about Horizon, because Horizon has, I mean, before it was called IceLink, it has had a name that only technical people would know, PCX something, or
PXNet, yeah.
And we're going to talk about that in a moment. But before we will get back to your presentation, that I promise that's the last little thing I will talk to you about right now. I couldn't help when we spoke a couple of days ago about the poster you have in the background. That is, you have to
see if I get you a little better view of that. There you go.
Yeah, you have to give a little shout out what it is.
Okay. Well, as I mentioned, I've been working together with Horizon and Standard for 30 years, a little over 30 years, and I've been in the industry longer than that. Probably shows on my face. The poster behind me is
covered by the beard. Don't worry.
The poster behind me is actually the poster for Drupa 90, for the Drupa festival that was held in Dusseldorf, and that poster, I believe, actually I received at the Drupa event that was held before that. They used to have a tradition of producing the poster for the upcoming event at the show, and during that particular event, I had traveled to the to Drupa together with about 20 to 25 dealers from the U.S. to look at the new technology and things that were happening at Drupa, and I've attended every one since. So it's been an important part of my career and an important part of the industry for many years.
I can't help think about that. It's so funny that you mentioned that this was printed and given to people at Drupa. I mean, if you think about it for a second, in 90, I mean, I think for most people, 90 doesn't sound so far away. I know it's 30 years, but it doesn't sound like that far away. But that is pre-internet. That is pre-mobile phones, right?
Very much so. I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure that I had a pager at that time.
You know, that never took off in Europe, so I never had one, so I can't relate to it. I know what it is, but that's it. Bob, why don't we, I don't know if you have help for that, but you need to click on the share screen button, and then you have to go back to your presentation. I will be listening to your entire presentation, and I will turn off my camera and microphone, but I will be listening, and I will ask you critical questions as a journalist afterwards, I promise you.
Don't make them too tough. Remember, I'm just a pretty face.
I forgot about that, sorry.
Okay, let's go to screen share. Make sure my microphone is on, my camera is on, screen share needs to be on. We'll do that. And we want to go to the presentation.
And there we are. So I will turn off my microphone and camera. I see your presentations beautiful here. So you can just take it away, Bob.
Okay, well, before I get into the presentation, Morten, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity, and all the folks at INKISH actually for putting this event together for the people in the printing industry. I think it's a valuable event, and we appreciate you including us in it. For some of you that will be watching this event today, you may have seen an earlier presentation on the smart factory and automated finishing that was presented for our friends in the European market space by the folks at Horizon. This presentation is much the same, so some of the content will seem familiar to you, but we believe that it's an important message that we're looking to project out to the marketplace, and felt that it was good to present it directly to the North and South American marketplace here today. We're going to be touching on a number of topics during the presentation. We'll be talking about finishing as the last frontier. We'll do a review of the Think Smart factory event that was held in Kyoto last October. We'll talk about why we should be thinking and talking about a smart factory. We'll show you some smart factory solutions from Horizon, and I'll deliver a message directly from the folks at Horizon at the end of this presentation as well. As we've all seen over the past 10+ years, digital print technology has made rapid advancements, and more pages have migrated from conventional offset to digital print in many print sectors, such as book publishing, direct mail, financial print, social print, healthcare, and advertising, as just a few examples. However, I think it's safe to say that every segment of print is experiencing an increased shift to digital print, and as such, print providers have made large investments in print capabilities to keep in touch with or ahead of technology. On the other hand, while much attention has been paid to adopting print plants to digital print, much less consideration has been given to what role finishing will play and how we will have to adopt finishing processes to be successful and profitable in a digital print environment that does not necessarily align with traditional binary processes. Oftentimes, the lack of sufficient finishing capabilities are not recognized until you're in the heat of the battle and deadlines are missed. It is with this in mind that I think that we can truly say that finishing is the last frontier on a continuing migration towards a more digitally printed world. Expectations are changing in print just as it is in all of our daily lives. In the past, it was considered good turnaround time if you could receive a print order in 7 to 10 days or 3 to 5 days for a rush job. However, in order to keep up with expectations that are set more and more by online shopping, the internet, social media, many print buyers and consumers have become accustomed to turnaround times of 24 to 48 hours. In the past, lead time when ordering a printed book was much longer. People were more patient, and waiting for a week did not seem like a long time. But nowadays, expectations are different, and we've become accustomed to same day or next day service. A good example of this is in the photo book space. A customer orders the book through the online. Order requirements are sent to the printing plant where print and finishing, including binding, are performed in the same day for delivery to the customer. In this animation, this all looks simple, but to achieve this kind of turnaround, there are many things that need to be in place, and there are factors that need to be considered, such as paper type, imposition, binding styles such as soft cover, lay flat, or case binding, all requiring customer expectations to align with the equipment capabilities. But what happens if all the points, including finishing, are not taken into consideration from the beginning of the process? Let's take a look at a couple of small samples of what can happen if finishing capabilities are not considered and do not align with product offerings. If a job is printed on a parent sheet size that's larger than the finishing system, whether it's a cutter or a folder or a binder can handle, it will require additional steps such as cutting prior to being processed on the finishing system it was intended for, adding an unexpected and a costly step to the production process. Or what if a job is printed on paper that is beyond the thickness range of a folder, or the spine of a book exceeds the capacity of a binding equipment? In this case, the only option is to make a costly exception to the process and pricing models to send the job outside. Understanding and building your finishing capabilities into your business model is important to minimize or eliminate additional steps, avoid extended delivery times, and reduce profit margins due to costly exceptions to the rule. In fact, it is just as important as choosing the right printing platform. At least that's what we on the finishing side believe. This is something that Horizon strongly believes in fact, and was one of the driving factors behind the organization of the Think Smart Factory event in Kyoto last year. As the name implies, this show was an opportunity to show the direction of automation and integration across the complete production process. from order processing to finishing, and to promote thinking and discussion with and among printers about their future strategies for print automation and what they are looking for from equipment and software suppliers like Horizon and others to help them achieve a smart factory concept. As you can see on this slide, we were joined by many leaders in the print and finishing technology, all collaborating to show real solutions. Over the 4 days of the show, there were just over 3,000 individuals, attendees from printing companies who participating in the show, with 50% of the attendees being from Japan and Asian countries, mainly due to the proximity of the show. And 34% of the attendees had traveled in from Europe, with 16% making the long journey from North and South America to see what the Smart Factory was all about. The event focused on several key areas. Automation was front and center and was featured on nearly every system and application on the floor. Workflow was also a key point, with jobs being produced on the floor involving 14 solution companies cooperating in a single workflow system. Integration also included scheduling, workflow management, as well as the integration of robot technology for touchless production processes. Efficient movement of jobs through the shop was achieved with AGV technology for moving work from print to finishing and further on to print sample kiosks located around the show or in a real factory situation off to shipment to the customer. All of this technology was shown to demonstrate ways to increase efficiencies and reduce labor and redeploy resources to more critical or productive activities. Visitors to the event were surveyed on a variety of topics. One key question was, are you working on or are you considering to set up a smart factory environment? We were pleased to hear that 74% of the visitors are already considering or already working on a smart factory concept within their business. We also asked visitors what they thought about the concept of the event itself, the way we were laid out as a complete working environment. We were very pleased to hear that 88% of the attendees were satisfied with the format and the approach of the setup and entire working floor with a continuous workflow, as opposed to individual vendor booths that you see at most exhibits in our industry. The conclusion by Horizon, along with their print and software partners, is that customers all over the world are seriously considering a smart factory concept to resolve issues related to labor shortages, improving production efficiencies, and reducing costs. So what do we mean when we say smart factory? In our view, the concept of a smart factory refers to a factory or print plant that is managing productivity and quality through the Internet of Things. Technology connecting all machines and processes to the Internet for scheduling, tracking, and management from order placement to shipment. Adaptation of this technology in manufacturing sector has shown increased quality and decreased cost by use of the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, big data, and robotics to bring new value and increased efficiencies to the manufacturing process. So why does the smart factory make sense for the printing industry, and why now? Well, there's several reasons that we believe are key. First, we know it has always been a challenge, and it's getting even harder every day to hold on to good experienced operators, and even harder to find new ones and to get them trained to a point where they can be efficient in the shop. Secondly, labor and material costs are rising every year, so we need to control the cost of production as best that we can by increasing efficiency and reducing material waste that's involved with setup changeovers of various machines in the finishing process. And of course, competition is always present, making it difficult to stay both profitable and competitive with outdated production models. In today's environment, the market is changing rapidly and often, which means print providers need also to be light on their feet and have the ability to respond to increasing delivery demands. And of course, no presentation today would complete without talking about COVID-19, which has taken us all by surprise and has likely introduced new normal for print plants and the world at large, requiring social distancing or reduced workers on the floor at one time, as well as minimizing common touch points in the production process to help ensure worker safety. However, the ultimate goal is not to achieve a smart factory concept, but rather to become or remain successful through the use of a smart factory approach. As many of you know, Horizon has a wide range of powerful and automated finishing solutions that are already helping companies move towards a smart factory concept. I'll touch on a few of these examples in just a moment. But we have found that the term smart factory can be intimidating to some, as it sounds like a big goal and means extreme change and big investment. However, as I mentioned earlier, the smart factory is not really the goal, but more of a means to achieve the goal of a successful business. It can begin simply by identifying weak or slow areas of production or a specific production process within your company and addressing them to become more efficient. Standard, together with Horizon, has a number of solutions that will allow you to increase productivity and improve efficiency to help you become a smarter manufacturer and a more successful business. First, let's take a look at incorporating robotics into a small production cell, book production cell, that is. In this case, the BQ270V, which is a single clamp binder, even though the 270V is highly automated, it still requires an operator to prepare and infeed book blocks into the binder. However, by substituting a robotic arm for this task, you can reduce labor costs and realize more consistent and reliable book production. Let's have a look at a video that shows this process. In this system, the pre-collated sheets are processed into book blocks in the HSF40 high-speed sheet feeder. The pre-programmed robotic arm removes each book block from the jogging station and presents it directly into the clamp of the binder. At this point, the book block and cover matching can also be verified by unique barcode. The bound book block is transferred to the delivery section of the binder, and here, as it exits the machine, you can see that there is a barcode on the cover that will now be used to automatically set up the trimmer for format and thickness changes. The books are then trimmed to finish format size in the HT300 trimmer for completion of a touch-free process. I would like to also mention that this system is used daily in the production of machine part, operation, and service manuals at the Horizon factory in Japan. So we practice what we preach. Next, let's take a look at one of our smart binding systems as an example of a higher production system achieved through integration and automation. In the finishing process, there are 3 primary steps to produce a perfect bound book after the print is completed. The first step in many cases is folding of a larger sheet down to signature sections. Second is securely gluing, Second is securely gluing or binding of the book block to the covers. And third, of course, is trimming to finish size. In most cases, these are individual bindery processes performed at a standalone folder, binder, and trimmer. Each of these steps requiring 1, 2, or more operators per process, as well as make-ready materials for each one of these steps. However, by integrating these 3 processes into one automated production line, You're able to reduce make-ready, man-hours, and touch points to complete the job. Let's take a look at how a smart binding system can make this all a reality. In this case, the pre-printed rolls are unwound and cut for transfer to the Horizon folder for folding to signatures, which are then accumulated into glue-tack book blocks for automated feeding onto a cooling conveyor and transfer directly into the SB09V perfect binding system. The book blocks are jogged and presented into each one of the carriage clamps where the spine is prepared, glue is applied, and cover and book block registration is achieved. The bound books then exit the binding system and are accumulated in a stacking system for transfer to a cooling conveyor that will transfer the books down to the HT1000V zero make-ready perfect 3-knife trimming system. There's a barcode scanner at the infeed of the 3-knife trimmer, which reads a barcode to set up trim size and thickness for each one of the books. So it truly is zero make-ready, and finished product is delivered from roll to finished book without operator intervention, truly showing an automated, integrated, and smart factory solution. In this next example, we feature a smart factory solution that incorporates the use of AGV, or automated guided vehicle technology. With almost any machine, loading the paper, especially larger sheets, can be time-consuming and tedious, not to mention the time that's wasted tracking down and moving the work from one stage to the next. However, this step can be easily streamlined and automated by use of AGV. Let's take a look at one of the ways that we use this technology at the Think Smart Factory event in Kyoto last October. After printing, the delivery skid is automatically removed from the press, delivered and transferred directly into the feeder of the folder. At this event, we also connected the folder directly to a saddle stitching system to produce booklets at 6,000 books per hour, with automated loading via the AGV, once again eliminating process steps and reducing make-ready and labor costs in the production of saddle stitch books. Of course, these are just a few examples of how robotics, AGV technology, and integration can be used to help turn any shop into a working smart factory. So let's take a quick review of what we have seen, as well as some additional integration with third-party devices. Here we see a robot arm used for feeding the binder, and a larger system used for offloading of palletized books and palletizing finished books after they've been 3-knife trimmed. In this next example, you see integrating of third-party solutions such as shrink wrapping and banding to facilitate easy handling of the books after they've been either perfect bound, saddle stitched, or whatever the process has been. And once again, we see an AGV being used to move work from one process step to the next. AGV technology was also combined together with automated tote loading to move finished work of our sample, finished work around the shop to our sample tables. And in the real world environment, it could be used to move work to the shipping area after it's been produced. So that was a quick look at a small sampling of the type of smart solutions that Horizon can provide through their own equipment design and automation, as well as an example of working with third-party suppliers to incorporate robotics, ancillary equipment, and AGV technology to create equipment smart zones within a plant, or collaborating on a fully functional smart factory. Also important to achieving this goal is an effective network solution. In October of last year, Horizon introduced IceLink as its new workflow solution. as its new workflow solution. A workflow solution is an important component of a smart factory to help manage and capture critical information relating to scheduling, inventory, operating efficiency, and machine job and status. IceLink is a cloud-based software that allows you to connect multiple machines such as a folder, perfect binder, saddle stitching, and trimming from one or more locations to a single cloud-based workflow system. Because the information is gathered and stored in the cloud, it allows for access and viewing of equipment status by a production manager on the floor or remotely by upper management from really anywhere in the world. Of course, this information can be tracked and is available for viewing via a PC, a laptop, a tablet, an Android, or an iPhone. Storing and tracking information on the cloud also allows for remote support and better management of preventative maintenance. For example, alerts can be sent automatically so that upcoming maintenance can be scheduled ahead of time to reduce downtime and increase productivity. The dashboard feature of IceLink provides real-time operational status, current production machine availability, and production efficiency of all connected machines from one screen in a single glance. System analysis is also created as a standard feature so that unscheduled downtime and inefficiencies can be more easily identified and corrected to optimize productivity and increase profitability. So we've shown you several new automated and integrated solutions in this presentation. However, I would like to reinforce the fact that Horizon has a very broad range of finishing solutions. Excuse me, very finishing solutions for nearly any production range and across the full spectrum of finishing disciplines, including creasing and slitting, perfect binding, saddle stitching, and folding. And these solutions are available for both offset or digital operations and for cut sheet or continuous applications. And of course, Horizon is committed to continuing to invest heavily in R&D for new products to stay in step with the changes in our industry and the changes we are seeing in our world today. So let me just recap some of the points we've covered in this presentation. We believe that a small factory concept can support sustainable growth, which is an important goal for every printing company. Hiring and higher wages are increasing challenge in our marketplace, just as they are in every business, but it seems to be an even more difficult challenge to find people within our industry to replace those that are leaving due to age or for whatever reason. Leveraging the automation of the smart factory can allow printers to scale the business efficiently as volumes grow without having to add costly and hard to find manpower. It's also critical to capture and review true labor and material costs, identifying and tracking non-productive time and unnecessary material waste. And an initial investment in a smart factory technology can reduce additional labor costs and associated materials, not just in the beginning, but over the life of the system and the process. And of course, we recommend an optimized and an integrated production process from print to finish, looking at hardware and software together to streamline the whole workflow will maximize efficiencies within your operation. That wraps up the main presentation that I have prepared for you today, and I'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen to me. But I just want to state that this process of automation and smart factory concept is something that Horizon strongly believes in, and that the Think Smart Factory event held last year in October in Kyoto was not a one-time event. We were scheduled to have another exhibit this year. However, due to travel restrictions that have affected us all because of the COVID-19 situation, that had to be put on the back burner. But Horizon thought it was important enough that they should carry on this message to the marketplace and not wait until 2021 to do that. So Mr. Takasugo has kindly put together for us a video which will explain to you an event that was recently put on at the new Horizon Innovation Park located at the manufacturing facility just outside of Kyoto on Lake Biwa. So let's take a look at his presentation.
Do you want me to turn the video on, Bob?
I can do it from here, I believe.
Yes, you should be able to.
Well, it doesn't seem to be coming back up, so it may be a good idea. Oh, here we go. Just a little longer delay than we expected.
That's okay.
Hello, my name is Yasuo Taketsugu at Horizon International. I wish I could join this session in real time, but due to time difference, please allow me to join with a pre-recorded video. A few weeks ago, we have organized the event called Horizon Smart Factory 2020 at our new facility, Horizon Innovation Park. It was a 6 days event, and it consisted of socially distanced in-person demonstrations for 370 domestic customers and 2 live English shows daily, which were attended by nearly 2,000 attendees from 59 different countries. The event was organized together with the leading print vendors, including Canon, Fujifilm, Konica Minolta, Ricoh, RMGT, and Screen. We have shown integrated and connected solutions together with them under shop floor concept. I'd like to show you some of the new integrated solution which was shown at the event. First solution is a printer inline cut system. Greeting cards, coupons, and business cards are produced with our smart slider. This smart slider is connected in line with the Ricoh C9210 printer with our newly developed seat buffering module SPM100. This module is a universal module, and we are working to integrate with different print vendors, and also has a project to connect other finishing devices such as rotary die cutter, perfect binding system, and others. Next solution is robot feed book production system. We have used the robot arm to feed the book block into the single clamp puppet binder BQ27TV. We are using this solution for real production to produce our manuals and closing our machines. Shortage of labor is a common issue in this industry, and automated simple work such as feeding or offloading are increasing. We are working to use robot as one of our important projects and will offer useful solution to the market. Next solution is a printer inline book production system. BQ500 4-clamp puppet binder is connected in line with a Canon C10000 BP press together with our newly developed loose seat book block feeder, LBF500, seat buffering module SPM100, and book block stacker. At this point, the function is limited to handle A4 printed seats, but we have a plan to develop A3 printed, cut and merge, and a stack function to handle a wide range of applications. Next solution is high-capacity stacker and AGV transport. This solution was presented as a technology showing and proposed our future vision for fully automated smart factory concept. High-capacity stacker is universal design to connect cut seat printers. The stacker is transported by AGV to finishing device. This tray works as a feeding table for finishing device and start feeding automatically. This time we have connected with folding machines, but we have a plan to use this solution for various finishing devices as well. Next solution is fault liner, which is integrated with our V1 folder AFC746F and saddle stitching system Stitchliner 6000. This system was shown together with our MGT and demonstrated with their AZV solutions. AZV picks up the pallet from the press and deliver the pallet to the infeed of the folders. With this system, we can reduce labor and process to finished products. All the solutions on the floor were connected and managed by our new workflow solution IceLink. IceLink is a cloud-based workflow solution. IceLink is featured JDF workflow, real-time dashboard, analytics, and remote service function to increase productivity and an efficiency as well as increase of uptime of system. At this event, we have introduced new collaboration with Spencermetrics. By using Spencermetric, entire system including press to post-press can be monitored under a single dashboard. They have a unique way to collect the detailed process information from each system which JDF, JMF cannot provide. After pandemic will be settled down, we have planned to organize an event at this new facility, and we are looking forward to seeing you at that time. Please stay safe and healthy. Thank you.
Wow. Bob, first of all, congratulations on a great presentation. It was really great to see all our friends from Japan as well. And I was just about to ask, is this the only way that you can get to see your son? Is that by having him on video?
That is actually correct these days. That it's not always business video, but we do communicate often through Line and FaceTime and whatnot. And unfortunately, not able to travel to Japan as I generally do on a regular basis. So right now we are relying on this technology to communicate. And he's expecting a child, so hopefully things will change soon.
Congratulations! You're going to be grandfather then.
Yes.
Right? Bob, I can't help think about, we spoke about before your presentation, we spoke about how Horizon has developed as a company and both technology and company, and also how important the printing companies in America, of course, has been in this transition process. Can't you, when you see all the things that Horizon is capable of doing now, can't you sometimes get breathless and just think, how did they do this?
Well, actually, it is true, and there's a lot under their umbrella. If you, Martin, happen to be familiar with Horizon, and many of the people attending the webinar are today as well. As you know, they're the only manufacturing finishing equipment that manufactures across the full spectrum of finishing products. So they manufacture cutters, folders, saddle stitches, perfect binders, and die cutters. Whereas other companies only make a small portion of that field of products, and at the same time, they were one of the first to move from manual setup of equipment to automation. They started that more than 20 years ago, probably 25 years ago. They started moving into automation and have been well ahead of others in the finishing area as far as automation is concerned. And of course, with things changing from offset to digital, I mean, offset is still a very important part of our market, but with things changing more and more, they've also recognized the need to adapt to software and workflow systems that will help tie the finishing product into the overall print production.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, because I mean, if you look at Horizon, and I think, basically also if you look at the Heidelbergs and the Koenig Bauers and the Komoris and, all the finishing equipment of the major, I think that to some extent, I think that they, 10 years ago, they were maybe more considered as iron manufacturers, and they were very mechanical companies. And today, all of them have stepped up to really deliver IT solutions that are integrated with equipment in ways that yeah, and when I say breathless, it's like, first thing is that it can at all be possible, but also to comprehend the perspectives of what's going on in the future. As you may have seen, there was this Heidelberg Innovation Week a couple of weeks ago, and we were there. And when we saw that you have the not just flying plate change, now you have actually the delivery of the plates to the press as well. So even in the offset space, so much automation takes place that when you see the little robot ACV taking the the paper from the output tray to the input tray of the finishing equipment. You just think about how close do you think we are in order to be able to actually make a lights out production?
Well, I don't know that we ever really truly get to a complete lights out production, but we're getting damn close. There are systems that are out there that are operating. So, for example, you saw the roll to perfect binding solution that we highlighted in our presentation. That's not a wish. That's not a maybe. Those systems are out there and working in shops today, and that's helping to automate the process, streamline, and minimize workflow. You talk about the automation. It's not just limited to digital print. It is in the offset world as well. Yeah. I myself started in the industry hanging plates on a press, and it's been amazing to see the change from where we were 30 years ago to where we are today. And it's not just talk. Over the last 10 years, for example, there's been a lot of talk about JDF. It started with SIP4 and industry standards and how we were going to automate a lot of processes. And for a number of years, it was just talk. But today you see it actually being implemented in many, many shops and in many, many areas to tie the full processes together and to streamline things. As things become more of a commodity and turnaround times are expected in one day, you have to move to this type of technology in order to make it all happen.
It's funny. It reminds me of an anecdote, and I'm sorry if any of the audience have heard it before, but I want to repeat it because, I interviewed Mark Milbourne from Komori US at the Printing United in Dallas last year, and as far as I remember, free from memory, he was saying that we will eventually work towards having machines that are not depending on operators. Right, plates, setup time, paper feed, paper out, etc. And I brought that message to a Facebook group with print operators, and they got so upset with me. I was just the messenger, but they got upset with me, saying, "No, we will never have situations where it can't be managed a printing press without operators." And the reason why I mentioned this is because I think that one of the obstacles, I don't know how it's in the US, but I think a lot of people recognize this, that sometimes also the owners of the print shops, they sometimes believe that the size of the company is measured in headcounts rather in productivity and profitability. And the machines and the technology are just means to deliver that profit to the shareholders, right?
Well, I think that's a little bit of perhaps old thinking. I think that most people measure the size, the strength, and the abilities of their company by what they sell, how much they sell, and how much profit they make on it. At least I hope that's what they're doing, and not by the number of people or the weight of the equipment. I often run into people, Morten, also who get a little bit concerned when we talk about automation and the fact that it's going to eliminate people. And the fact of the matter is, it's getting harder and harder to find people in our industry. And what I like to tell people is the automation and the smart factory concept is not designed to eliminate people, but it's designed to make the people that you have more efficient and more productive, because we're all going to have to deal with fewer headcounts in some areas just because it's hard to find people in our industry to do the tasks that need to be done.
But maybe also from the fact that since, especially in the West, we see an increased salaries on all levels. Mm-hmm. So the people that we employ need to be more productive, not just in the production, but we will employ, in one of the sessions, I think it was yesterday or Monday, we spoke about that the skill set that you need from a printing company in the future is definitely changing, because you need people that understand computers. You need people that understand automation processes. So it's not just about the craftsmanship. It's also about the skill set of all the things that needs to be understood in order to make sure that this happens, right?
That's absolutely correct. There's no replacing the people that you need that understand what quality is, because quality is what you need to deliver to your customer. Yeah. But today we need to be able to achieve that quality level utilizing technology available, and that does require a different type of operator in many cases.
Yeah, we got at least one question. Let me just see, and that is one of our most loyal participants at our Smart Factory. He has still not revealed his name, but unless he has a name that is RRRCCC, which I doubt. But nevertheless,
that will be Royal Cola, which is an old drink in the United States.
Okay. But apparently, this gentleman, he is working in the newspaper industry. And he has a question. He says, "Very good information, sir." And he's referring to you. Where to do the inspection of the product after printing, how the folding signatures are correct, sometimes side lay variations in the printing, etc. So I was thinking that part of all these automation things and processes and all the things that you have been presenting, is there also some kind of monitoring the quality?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So for example, on the continuous system that I showed, the unwind through to the finished perfect bound book, we have cameras all throughout that system. And to begin with, we can say that on the front end with the Hunkler unwinder and cutter that was used in that system, there's also a web inspection system there that can inspect print quality of the roll, and we can flag defective printed pages to be rejected. At the folding system, there is a reader and a camera that is looking for a unique barcode on each one of those sheets, and if a barcode is identified as incorrect, that signature will be rejected. If a signature is folded crooked, that signature will be rejected. Then as the book blocks are accumulated in the book block feeder, there's another reader that says, wait a minute, there's a signature that's not here because it was rejected, but we still need to build this book block to get to the next one. And then we reject that entire book block, and we also can send a reprint file back to the front end to regenerate the book that's missing. So we do tie it all the way through. And in fact, we also have cameras in the binder to make sure that the cover and the book block is a match, and a camera at the end at the trimmer to ensure that the book has made it all the way through the entire process. So yes, obviously tracking is a very important step in the process.
Yes. And as Eduardo Hollande says, printer machines like Ryobi uses a camera who check for the quality. And I think that is more or less becoming the standard on both analog and digital equipment these days, that at least when you buy new generations, there's no question that, and especially also because the speed goes up. And as you say, the need for improved productivity also requires that you cannot have faulty deliveries in something that just flies by your production flow.
That's absolutely correct, and my regards to Orlando as well.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. We are about to. I was just about to say finish, but I don't know if that word applies to this kind of session, because you will just take it as a sales pitch. It's not. I can't buy anything from you. I don't have a printing company.
I'm quite all right with the term finishing.
Mr. Bob, it has been a pleasure to meet you here online. I look forward to hopefully soon be able to see you in real life. And I really thank you both for your presentation, and also from the wonderful message from Taketsugu and all our friends at everywhere. And for all the people that are here, I have just posted a link, because in just a few minutes, we continue this wonderful discussion in a new session where we are going to talk to your colleague, Mark Hunt, yes, as well as Hans Gut, who is working with Hunkler in Switzerland. So I will just throw you out now. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much, Bob.
Well, thank you, Morten, and thank you to everyone for joining us today. Stay happy, stay healthy, and be successful.
Horizon does a very good job of listening carefully. I think I think it's very easy to develop products in isolation from the market, right? And you bring them to market and the customer says it's very nice, it's shiny and pretty, but it doesn't have utility or practical use for me. And I think Horizon is a very pragmatically oriented company, and they put a lot of thought and attention into trying to detect what the customer's genuine pain points are and address those in a very efficient and easy to use ways.